Good evening and good morning, everyone. I'm Christopher Vanderpool, candidate for UCS's first-year representative position. I'm speaking to you all again about my policies and initiatives if I'm elected to this office. Before the announcement of my campaign, I sent out numerous exploratory surveys and solicited opinions from various sources. While my efforts to garner these opinions may have been slightly annoying, I appreciate anyone who spared the time as well as the effort to allow their voice to be heard in this democratic process. Overwhelmingly, one of the most significant issues in those surveys was that we were all disillusioned with the lack of transparency and communication on Brown University's part. Rightfully so. We've all had moments where we checked the main GroupMe and saw that the Care Bears group chat, which has over 1,500 members, had more than 200 unread messages that would go around in circles about fundamental questions that the university hadn't answered. More so, when we ask questions in Zooms to Brown University, we're met with the apathetic answer, "Why don't you just Google the answer?" I don't know if that's an appropriate response when our anxiety is at an all-time high. There's so much uncertainty, and Brown hasn't done much to alleviate what we're feeling. I'm sure that anyone viewing this, whether you are a fellow UCS first-year representative candidate or hopefully a supporter of mine, will agree that Brown needs to do better. There is no reason to live in a constant state of uninformedness because Brown can't put together an updated booklet of essential dates and information. Brown should have printed or created an updated version of this Brown and You booklet that we all received when we were admitted to the university. I can speak only for myself, but I know that this booklet saved me a lot of anxiety about the process of becoming a student, enrolling myself within the university, and filling out the appropriate documents. And many have also indicated in my survey that this saved them a lot of anxiety as well. Now we're all flying blind with questions like, what is pre-registration? When are health forms due? Do we have to pay the health services fee and insurance? What are our move-in dates? When do these move-in dates occur? And can we change our status on Brown's survey from remote to on-campus once we submit it to them? These questions should be quickly answered by the university and presented in a quick reference location, one that's easy to see, one that we can quickly reference at any time. Instead, Brown's solution to this problem is to create numerous FAQ pages for different topics, which aren't always conveniently located, and we have to search for our email to find them in the first place. These are not cutting it, Brown. As your first-year representative, I will commit our university to do better. In no world should a 1,500-person GroupMe become someone's primary source of information. While it is certainly helpful, it is subject to vast misinterpretation and confusion. Like Brown's Today at Brown emails that we receive, which give us a clear picture of that week's events at the university, I will establish a communications bulletin that details important deadlines for that month, including FAFSA filing deadlines, scholarship declaration filing deadlines, enrollment deadlines, and move-in forms and dates, as well as anything else that we need to be successful at our university. Unlike what Brown might have done, I'm not about suddenly dumping a to-do list in someone's lap. While what I present might be a form of a to-do list, it's not going to have a completion date of that upcoming Friday. It's going to be sent in advance that anyone can complete it in a reasonable amount of time. And to be honest, 5 days is not reasonable, in my opinion. Additionally, your other first-year representative, whoever that might be that you select to serve alongside me, and I will also commit to holding weekly office hours open to questions, critiques, and suggestions. During these office hours and outside of these office hours, we will be available to you all to hear your feedback about our job and what your university could be doing better to serve you. I also move that we establish fireside chats to offer an alternative avenue for receiving campus news and important updates. Now, I'd like to turn to my fellow UCS members and UCS onlookers. I commit myself to making our organization more transparent. After last week's reverberating fiasco and constitutional crisis, it has become evident that there may be problems brewing within our organization. Yet these problems can still be resolved. While I proposed initially that we file an amendment to establish a body to resolve such conflicts, I quickly found that someone else had already done this legwork, and thus I was quick to jump to that person's support, and I now support that person's amendment to ensure that we have a body that's committed to resolving these issues, not just within UCS, but other student government associations. Through these initiatives and more, our organization shall become transparent and accessible to anyone. After all, who knew what a point of order was before it was tossed around 25 times? Who heard of the parliamentary procedure or Robert's Rules of Orders before that became a crisis in and of itself during last week's meeting? Those terms and many of our discussions we've had may often be inaccessible to the casual onlooker or even member. I will not stand for this, and in my position on the executive board, I will make every effort to ensure our group's accessibility to all. Lastly, I'd like to address one of the most significant challenges and uncertainties of our class year: summer earnings and our financial aid packages. With the Christopher Vanderpool First Year Representative Administration, this requirement in financial aid awards for the 2021-2022 academic year will be eliminated. Brown, in good consciousness, cannot require us to pay a $3,000 fee by which we have no means to raise the money to pay. In the summer of 2021, I expect that we will all be living on campus as full-time students, engaged in our coursework and engaged with our community at Brown. I see no time where we could work in the first place, but also work enough hours to gain $3,000 in the span of just one summer of 10 to 12 hour work weeks. This is an excessive and egregious fine. There is no time to earn this money, so we cannot be expected to pay this excessive fee. Our voices will be heard both by UCS and by Brown's administration, and we will not see that fee in our award packages next year. Remember, the voting period begins this Friday on October 30th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, 6 a.m. in Hawaii, 6 p.m. in Paris, 10:30 p.m. in New Delhi, and midnight, October 31st in mainland China. Please be sure to mark your calendars and make sure to vote as soon as you can, both in the UCS election as well as the United States general election. There is too much at stake, especially on the broader national scale. Please join me again tomorrow for my Election Night Eve campaign event held over Zoom. Please check my social media stories for the time as well as the Zoom link. Thank you all for your time, and remember, Chris for UCS.